Forum today being brought to you by the Dana Law Group, Sunshine Cleaning and Restoration, Hospitality Wireless, Dan Good Flooring, Anytime Fitness, Choice Auto and Truck, and Holiday Cruises and Tours. Well, good Friday morning. It's 5 minutes past 9 o'clock. It's still 37 degrees. And yep, it's Friday, so you know what that means. It's time for your hometown movie guys. We have Tina and Andy in the studio with us today. We do not seem to have Craig yet, but we will maybe kind of sort of someday. Or something like that. Sound about right? Boom. All right. Sorry for the delay. Everyone was dancing there.
I do love the intro.
That's right.
Yeah.
So how y'all doing this morning?
Swell.
Just wonderful.
Healthy.
Yes.
Disease-free.
Yes.
Well, the day is still young.
And as you said earlier, Gila County is allegedly disease-free.
That's right. Still no confirmed cases.
we
We
are
still have
blessed.
seven tests that are still pending, but other than that, looking good so far. So, although Gila County, or excuse me, not Gila County, down in southern Gila County, Globe has closed down all of their bars, restaurants, and movie theaters, but just in a abundance of caution down there. Still no confirmed cases, so that's good. But we're going to be keeping you posted on all that stuff. And of course, there is that COVID-19 hotline that you can call to get more information at 474-9260. 474-9260. But if you're thinking, I'd really rather talk to the county health department, well, you can reach them as well at 474-1210.
Yeah, sure. They're not busy. Give them a call.
Yeah, take up some of their time.
Really?
And this morning on Rim Country Forum, as we do on Friday, talking with your hometown movie guys. And again, we have Tina and Andy with us in the studio. Also, back in the background, videotaping the frivolity here is Don Klein. And you can always, check out the video of the Friday morning movie guys as he posted up to the Don Klein channel on YouTube, so check it out there and get all the behind-the-scenes look at what actually goes on here, especially during those commercial breaks.
And Randy, I like to go and watch that every once in a while, even though I'm here in person myself.
You're not a narcissist, are you?
I don't even know what that means.
It means someone who likes to watch themselves. That's okay.
No, I wash myself quite frequently.
Well, that's good.
Even more frequently than I did before.
I think your wife is happy.
Well, I enjoy the video on the Don Klein channel because I've never seen so much of the back of my head. But that's you have to check it out online. You'll understand what I mean.
I'll just recluse myself from any comments.
Recluse?
Putting your best side out.
It's recuse. It's not recluse.
Oh, it's recuse?
Although, yes, but you might be reclusing. That may actually be the word.
A recluse is a person who lives in a cave.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's
And we are all,
I am reclusing.
So it just answers the question that a lot of our listeners have. Does Andy even have a clue?
He doesn't have a recuse.
Anyway, this morning, obviously, sadly, for a temporary period of time, the Sawmill theaters closed just to, make sure everyone keeps their cooties to themselves, and hats off to them for doing that. They always do so much good for the whole community, and we're anxious for them to get back up and running again here, hopefully soon. But in the meantime, we still got to talk about movies, and this morning we're going to talk about, Andy wants to talk about plague-related movies.
Well, that's kind of the theme.
Sure. And what bugs you?
And I'll sit here and scream, unclean, unclean.
Well,
Bring out your dead.
I'm feeling much better. But actually, one of the other things is with a lot of folks, doing the social distancing thing, maybe doing a little home quarantine action, trying to stay away from everybody else's cooties.
Reclusing ourselves.
That's right. The big question a lot of people has is, what do we watch? And Tina's got a bunch of ideas of great movies that you can check out on Netflix and other such venues that might be just the thing you need to see it. Just before the show today, I was once again carrying on excessively about how much I enjoyed watching the 2011 World Series game, Game 7 last night, that FS1 had online, watching the Diamondbacks beat the Yankees, and I even had to record it because I couldn't stay up late enough to watch the end of the show. But that was just, it was neat seeing Gonzalez, Gonzo back up to the bat again, and Gracie and all those others that are now not looking nearly as young as they did in 2011. But it was just kind of fun to watch.
Why would that be?
I don't know. It's some kind of chronologically challenged thing of some sort.
It ain't right.
It ain't right, I tell you.
I resemble him.
So now, have you been staying home yourself, Tina?
More or less.
Yeah,
More or
and
less.
I assume though that that hasn't stopped you from getting your movie fix.
Oh, no. In fact, we just finished last night the wonderful series, which we had watched before. This was the second time. Person of Interest on
Oh.
Netflix
Right.
with the absolutely amazing Jim Caviezel, who was the actor who played in Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ.
Right.
But this is such a, it's a wonderful series. It's inspiring. The lives of the various characters are, it's fascinating to watch. And you really, at least I really, we really care about them.
I just saw a really great interview with Caviezel, I think it was yesterday I was reading it, where he was talking about, nowadays Hollywood's gone to all this superhero movies and stuff like that, and he went on in so many words to say, I got to play the biggest superhero of all time,
Yes,
Jesus
he did.
Christ.
Yeah, he
I thought
did.
that was lovely.
Yeah, and the man he plays in Person of Interest is a kind of superhero as well.
Huh.
A flawed and human. But you really care about this guy, and the whole series, I mean, just Grim Country. It'll keep you busy for a while, because there's, I think, 5 seasons.
Right?
Tino, is this spy stuff, or is this criminals, or well, who's interested in this guy and why?
Well, the premise is that there is artificial intelligence, a machine, which is, they refer to it as the machine, which one of the characters, Harold Finch, has invented. And it spans, the series spans quite a few years, even a couple decades. And the machine has been formed to spy on people, which is not a good thing, but to alert Harold Finch about people who are either, he keeps getting these numbers,
Mhm.
and it's generally a payphone that rings, and then he gets this number, and the number is keyed, usually social.
Payphones, I've heard of those.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is a 2014 series, and the phone alerts him. At first, it's just he who's involved in this, to a character, someone out there who is either in danger or going to commit something to put others in danger.
Hmm.
And he hires this guy, Jim Caviezel, who is an Army veteran, who there are flashbacks to scenes in which Caviezel and another woman, his partner, were involved in some pretty edgy things as undercover people. But Caviezel is a man of great moral, and he is in person, and he plays a character of great moral. And there are so many other characters. There is the great Taraji P. Jensen, I forget her last name, but she plays a black detective, and it takes place in New York. And it just, the whole series, every night, we might binge a couple of hours on it, and then we were watching it before this whole seclusion thing hit. But it's so inspiring, and last night we finished it off. And, you have that kind of feeling like, darn, man, there's no other, but it did conclude. I mean, there may be a hope for, continuation, but if there's not, it's really fine, because there was a completion feeling about
Right.
it.
Well, now, far more important in my strange view of the world, when it comes to Netflix, and you're the aficionado on Netflix, the big question is, do they have any of the old episodes of Benny Hill on Netflix?
I don't know, but it's worth looking
I'm
up
ready.
and see. That would be circling to the jolly things that one needs to.
I'm ready for some skanky British humor. I was.
Well, Monty Python. They had a bunch of Monty Python, which I did watch.
Well, I tell you, Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Yes.
I used to watch that religiously back in the 70s.
Yes.
I bet they do. They've got an enormous range of things. When I wrote my famous book, A Gross of Zombies,
I've heard about that repeatedly, in fact.
Incessantly.
yes, reviews of 144 zombie movies. I accessed I mean, the most obscure, one comes to mind, a Chilean zombie movie.
Oh, those are the best.
No, it was just awful. It really was.
And Chile's known for its meat, so, you know, how appropriate.
Yeah, so anyway, I would not be surprised if Benny Hill wasn't on there, so.
I have to check that out this weekend.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to view a Netflix, I'm so old fashioned, I get them in the mail on a disc.
Wow.
And
I don't-
I said, as I said to him the other day, they still do that?
Yeah, I'm
It's
not-
like checking out a VHS tape at the
Oh,
local movie place.
dude.
Yeah.
Seriously?
But anyway, I watched Mamma Mia.
Ah.
And
Ah.
I'd never seen Mamma Mia before. This kind of goes with Tina's theme of kind of happy movies that you want to see.
So I've never seen that one. I've heard a lot about it, but I've never seen it either. Is it worth, investing 2 hours of your
Oh,
life?
Lord, no.
No, I beg to differ.
I
beg to differ.
I appreciate
But
your
it-
honesty.
But it is a chick flick,
Yeah.
you know, so it's sort of frothy and forgettable.
Well, I'll let the chicks watch it and tell me what they think.
Well, get Diane on it.
Now, but on the other hand, it did between $600 and $700 million worldwide.
Wow,
So
I like that
I've
better
been
already.
I've been resisting, like you, been resisting it for years, not wanting to see it, and I finally succumbed. And it's interesting that there's a kind of a sub. It takes place in Greece, on a beautiful little Greek island, and there's kind of a sub-theme of the tension between the Dionysian impulse and the Apollonian impulse in the human character.
You can tell he's been working at home and studying. Yeah, I'm so impressed.
And
I just wish I knew what those words meant.
Well, you should explain. That's really good. I like what you're
This would be a
saying.
good cure if you're suffering from insomnia. Here we go.
well, I needn't go into it any further than that, but that is one of the few interesting things about the movie, except Amanda Seyfield, how do you say her name?
I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
Siegfried?
No, it's not
It
Siegfried.
might be, yeah.
Where's Freud when you need him?
I
Yeah.
know.
Hey, we have to take a fast break. We're going to come back and find out more about that. We're also going to find out about Andy's favorite plague-related movies, and we'd like to hear from you as well. 474-2427, and for that matter, what kind of shows are you watching on TV right now, just to kind of bide the time if you're sitting at home with the family and stuff like that? Give us a ring, 474-2427. We'll be back with more right after these words.
How about zombies from Atlantis?
Do what?
Zombies from Atlantis.
Oh.
I've never seen that.
It's, as far as I know, I just put it together. I don't know.
Oh.
He's writing a script.
Oh, okay.
Somebody needs to do that movie.
Yeah, someone
Zombies
needs to
from
make
the moon.
his
Helping
zombies.
families prepare these
Atlantis.
vital documents.
Okay.
Protect your family's future now. Free
Yeah.
initial consultation. Call the
But
Dana Law
in
Group
researching
at 928
plague
445
movies, it's amazing how many
That's
plague movies
445
are
4440 or go
zombie
online
related.
to
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, of course.
Good morning, Dave. What's your name?
Lion gas, Pinnacle propane.
I am a legend.
To handle both
Yes.
commercial and residential needs.
Yeah.
They've
They
been
made 3 of
diligently
those.
serving the
Really?
real country for
Yep.
over 47 years.
We got a live one.
Uh-oh.
Pinnacle
Hang on
Propane
to
is
it.
a company you can trust. Propane
Play one
is
more
safe,
commercial first.
economical, and environmentally
So
friendly.
how's the
A Lion
stream?
gas,
Is it
Pinnacle
down?
Propane at
Yeah, they took down the
474.
barricades
Be
at
safe.
the
Call
Pumpkin Center
811
crossing yesterday.
before you
They had
leave.
some huge mounds of material that they pushed across the creek the other day, and made it a lot less deep, but it's also where we were going across on the rocks, and it's, pretty hard surface. Now it's really soft. As soon as they pushed all that out there, the very next day, or no, that afternoon actually, I was coming back home. Someone stuck right in the middle of the minivan. It's like, it's not quite time for a minivan yet, buddy. But anyway,
Darwin Awards,
yeah.
yeah.
Welcome back to Rim Country Forum. 19 minutes past 9 o'clock, 38 degrees right now.
Get the caller, get
For a
the
high
caller.
44.
The
And
caller.
Let me turn on the microphones of these talkative folks we have
Get
here.
the caller, get the caller.
Get the caller. Hey, we got a caller on the line. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning. Thanks for calling. Okay. And Andy, you were saying something, that's very interesting. You were just saying as we were going through the break there that a lot of the plague-related movies that you've seen have ties to zombies,
Sure.
oddly enough.
Yeah, I mean, World War Z, most expensive zombie movie ever made.
Mhm.
It's all about the pathogen.
The most expensive zombie movie ever made, said, what, over $100 or what?
200 million.
200, they spent $200 million on a
Yeah.
zombie movie.
Yeah, they had to reshoot about the last third of it.
Wow.
Because.
Because it sucked or
Well, yeah,
what?
because the first go-around it was not satisfactory.
Oh, wow.
The zombies ate
But
the
after,
crew.
after reshooting it, it was satisfactory.
Oh, yeah, no,
Oh.
it's,
Groovy.
yeah, no, it's a completely solid zombie
A
film.
solid.
So, yet a number of other, plague-related movies have zombie ties as well?
Oh, Lord, yes.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I've been leading such a sheltered
Yeah.
life.
What the
Well,
heck is wrong with you? You didn't know
la-
this.
last-
And what
la-
the heck was wrong with me for the same reason?
Last Train to Busan, one of the,
Didn't the Monkees do a song like that?
no,
Oh, that was Clarksville, sorry.
Clarksville.
Yeah.
Yeah, Last Train to Busan is a Korean zombie movie that's absolutely terrific.
Ooh.
Well, sometimes Koreans might even act like zombies because they're so
It's that kimchi.
focused.
It's that kimchi, I'm
Oh, I
telling
love
you.
kimchi.
Ooh, you
In
can have
Hawaii,
mine.
we call it Korean breath mint.
Yeah, and I
Jeez.
was treated to lunch there one time by my driver and interpreter when I was
Oh,
in
man,
Seoul.
I
And
love kimchi.
this was in a small little neighborhood restaurant, and they had the little walk in the middle of the table, and you're sitting on the floor, with the little midget table and all that. And they were, frying up some kind of meat in there that seemed kind of spicy, and it wasn't. I mean, it was.
101 ways to walk your dog.
It was. I didn't realize until I was about halfway through it that, Fido gave his all for our lunch that day, and I was thinking, I think I could go without dessert now. But at any rate, different strokes for different folks. It's not nearly as bad as a balut in the Philippines, but we won't even spoil your breakfast talking about that. So, if someone...
You've been so many interesting places and eaten so much icky stuff, it's just...
Yeah.
But watch so few movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't realize the Earth had so many armpits, but I've visited all of them during very sweaty times. At any rate, so
One of the all-time classics, 1957 movie called The Seventh Seal.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely,
Yep,
yes.
Ingrid Bergman.
Yep.
And it's a story involving the Black Death in the mid-1300s that
Right.
wiped out.
Yeah.
Was that
A
bubonic
third-
plague?
A third
Yeah.
of Europe,
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah, but everything between Seoul and Iceland
Mm-hmm.
lost about a third of their population in a period of a year or so.
Right.
It's a pretty significant die-off.
Was that Ingmar Bergman who directed that?
Yes.
I believe.
Yes,
Yes. How did I
absolutely.
remember that? I
Um,
must be bizarre.
And I did not realize this until about an hour ago when I was doing a little research. There's a scene in The Seventh Seal, 1957, directed by Ingmar Bergman.
Easy for you to say.
Ingmar,
Ingmar.
because it was Ingrid who started it,
Oh, okay.
right?
Were they related?
I
Brother
don't
and
be-
sister?
I don't believe so.
Father and son?
No, I think it was just a very common name in Sweden.
Oh, could be, I don't know. In any case, there's a scene in there where Death is playing for very high stakes a game of chess.
Yes.
And as it happens, in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, there's a similar scene where Death is engaged in a very high stakes game of Twister.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't realize, and the costuming and everything is identical. I had no
That's
idea.
An homage.
An homage, thank you,
Homage,
yes,
yes.
yes. And by the way, Bill and Ted as grown-ups will be visiting us sometime late in the summer.
Oh, really?
Yes,
That's
I
good.
can't remember the title of it now. It was like Bill and Ted are grown up and have teenage kids themselves now.
No.
Something like
They've
that.
reproduced. Yeah.
Well, they married the princesses, so, they do have kids.
Huh.
Well, there you go. Hey, one of the things that you were talking about the plague, and I know back in the 1500s, Sir Isaac Newton He was sequestered at home because of the plague.
Yep.
And, you know, if you're thinking about, well, what can I do? I'm bored, I'm at home. Well, you know, he discovered his theory of gravity and I think 2 or 3 other, you know, pretty blockbuster things that while he was staying at home by himself trying to keep from catching that plague. So there are, you know, brainy things that we can do if we so choose.
If we're able. I cleaned the cat box. I thought I was really way ahead of the game.
Oh, way too many one-liners there. Let's steer clear of that one. But the bottom line is, I mean, you know, there's always something to do, or you can just listen to us talk about zombie movies.
Yeah, or watch flicks.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And now, so
Actually, we're not quite finished with Mamma Mia.
oh yeah, but wait, there's more.
Amanda Seyfield, or however you say her name.
No, that's it, I think.
Was she plays the young daughter who's getting married. The thing is involved a wedding, and she was terrific. But her mom was absolutely tremendous.
Wow.
And yeah, there was some singing and dancing and stuff too that was of some small interest, but
What?
you like the singing and dancing?
I'm just about to propose a bunch of musicals for, you know, your edification and enlightenment and lightening up.
Okay.
Yeah, it was light, I will say that.
Frothy. I said frothy
Yes,
before,
yeah.
that's
Like
it,
Bristol,
yeah.
perhaps.
Really?
So Tina, if we're stuck at home and we're bored and thinking about some movies that we should watch, any suggestions?
Who's not fat is
Yeah.
just fluffy.
Musicals are just always wonderful to watch. Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly, any of those. I just saw a clip the other day online of Gene Kelly doing singing "I Like Myself" and on roller skates, and apparently he used, you know, the old kind with the key. I mean, this kind that strap on. Oh my God! So you just have to see this. He was. I couldn't stop watching it, and I must have seen it 100 times. It was just so so uplifting, and it just makes you feel good. I mean, viscerally, you know, not just like, oh, that's nice with my eyes I'm watching, but geez, that I want to get out. I could do that if I could just. Those guys always inspired me to think I could dance like that. Of course,
Right.
that was the you know, the grand illusion. But yeah, musicals. And the other thing that I will just randomly say is Mystery Science 3000 on Netflix. They took the worst movies, and you know, I think some of them are actually zombie movies.
Could be.
Yes.
There are some very, very bad zombie
Yeah,
movies.
yes,
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, and the you know, they're shown with these little figures, a couple of whom are robots, who sit in the theater, and you see the silhouettes looking at the movie, and they make totally snarky comments. And what I said to my husband when we watched this was, they had to have watched these movies at least once before they were filmed watching these
Dedicated
movies.
professionals.
Yeah, oh, man, because some of the comments, once they make them, you think, whoa, you know, that's absolutely a Zimmer perfect. But at the same time, they couldn't have come up with it just on the first watching.
Right.
So I love that show.
Well, you know, you brought up something interesting as far as, you know, with people, you know, maybe being concerned about, oh, I got to stay home and I'm doing the social distancing thing and all that. And gosh, if you turn on the TV, I mean, all you hear is doom and gloom and a bunch of really overhype, in my opinion. But there is a lot of good news going on out there. As a matter of fact, you know, just in the last 24 hours, 925 people in Italy have been healed from the coronavirus. And, I mean, you know, we're always talking about how many people have died and everything, but almost 1,000 folks have recovered from the coronavirus in Italy, so that's some good news. But the point that I wanted to get to is, with what you were saying, Tina, what about uplifting movies? A movie that you know, if you watch, you walk away from feeling a little happier, or, you know, a little bit more uplifted. And Andy, when it comes to you, I'm sure there's got to be a zombie movie that has an uplifting message to it. I mean, what movies come to your mind?
I'll ponder that over the break.
Okay. And we'll be back with more of this right after that.
A listener tells us about her experience with hospitality.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. That's a great one.
Somebody just called again.
Cable
Okay.
band sound.
Sound of music.
Continually.
Sound of music. There you go. I like that.
Uplifting one.
The buffer issue. I heard about
Well, The Blind
hospitality
Side.
wireless. I have been
You know, we talked about
extremely
that last week,
pleased.
The Blind
No
Side.
loss of internet,
I'm
no
gonna
buffering,
circle back
and a
to,
much
A
lower.
always
faith-based movie called Alone but Never Alone.
That is.
Alone but
that's a
never alone?
gem.
Alone but
That
not
has,
alone.
Wireless is Rim Country's answer.
That's interesting.
That has Christine Baranski in it, which, by the way,
That was about some Christian kids who were kidnapped by Indians.
the underrated,
Speed and truly
the most
Period before the Civil War, or before the War for Independence.
Right.
she was hysterical.
And questions,
Um,
928-970-2565. That's 970-2565. Your KMOG Rim Country weather
All right, we got
forecast
one more
for
commercial after
Friday,
this,
March
and we'll
27th.
rock and
So
roll.
It's going to be
uplifting movies,
mostly
The Blind
cloudy
Side.
today. We do have a 60%
What's that?
chance for
The
some
Blind
scattered
Side.
snow showers.
You know,
Not a lot of
Good Morning
precipitation
Vietnam.
expected, though,
It's
with
a
less than
very
a half inch of
Yep.
accumulation
Who's
expected in
the
Payson.
guy in?
It's going to be windy too. Winds
Oh,
in
Daniel
Payson
Day-Lewis.
gusting around 24
Yeah.
miles an hour
Yeah.
with our
Good
high
choice.
at 44 degrees.
Yeah.
Up on top of the rim, the winds will be a little higher and the temperatures a little lower.
Yeah.
They're going to have a high today of only 36 degrees, and with those winds, that wind chill factor is going to be quite low. Our neighbors to the
Chaplain?
south in Tano Basin, your high on this Friday, 57 degrees. So just how long are these clouds and precip supposed to hang around?
All right,
Stay
one
with
more
us, because
commercial.
we have a
We have
complete
one
look at your
minute, we'll be
7-day
back.
forecast coming up, right here on your information station,
Oh, yes.
KMOG.
Haywire. We just watched Haywire again for about the 15th time.
Premium Steaks is having a gigantic 4-day sale today through Saturday. And now is a
People
great
need
time
to see
to fill your freezer today, 9 a.m. till 7 p.m.
Randy, I'm getting a bunch of
Next to Chili's, 806 South
archived
Basin.
newspaper reports from Australia, from when I was investigating UFOs down there. And I'm paying for them today, and I hope I get them pretty quick. And I'll bring them in and show them to you.
I would love to see that. That'd be very interesting. And we do need to get a, right now, we're between the upcoming election and all this coronavirus thing, I think we're booked solid for a
Right.
while, but I definitely would like to come around to that.
It's not something that I think anybody would be interested in right now with the focus on coronavirus. Although I think we ought to give the aliens the coronavirus and get them out
Yeah,
of
send them
here.
home.
The theme of War of the
We
Worlds,
can
right?
wipe out Uranus. Oh, we'll get to you in a minute, Randy. Quit talking. 474-2427, our number to call this morning. We're talking with your hometown movie guys. At least Tina and Andy with us. Craig will be back with us again soon. Again, Sawmill Theater's closed right now because of the concern over spreading germs and stuff like that with everybody sitting close together. So hats off to them for being socially responsible here in Rim Country. We appreciate that.
I've
But in the
stopped
meantime-
sharing my popcorn.
What's that?
I've stopped sharing my popcorn.
Ah.
I don't let any of those diseased paws dip into my bag of popcorn.
There you go, way to be responsible. Now, so we were talking about uplifting movies, and actually we had a call during the break there. Someone called in and said, and I agree with this, I've seen this, this is a movie I've seen recently. It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Oh, yes.
That's, I mean, that was a very uplifting
It was
movie.
beautiful.
And I thought they did a really good job of that. And when I first heard about it, I was thinking, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, really? This doesn't sound like something that's going to grip me too much, but I was wrong, and it was actually quite entertaining.
Yes.
And then Don Klein here in the, we had him sitting in the corner, he was a bad boy. But he said, how about Sound of Music? That was a good
Yes,
one.
absolutely.
And he also recommended a faith-based movie that you could walk away from feeling uplifted, and that's the one called Alone But Not Alone.
Yes, and that brings us to all the faith-based movies.
Mhm.
The War Room,
Right?
or I don't think it's War Room. The one that I just saw right before the sawmill closed down, which is I Still Believe.
Right.
That was fantastic.
How about The Notebook?
Yes, The Notebook, and the one that was with Dennis Quaid playing the father
Mhm.
who accepted the Lord at the end of his life.
Right.
I can only imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Again,
It's a great
true
one.
true story.
Yeah, and I mean, I've always loved that piece of music, but that
Oh,
that brought so much more context to it. I've
Yes.
seen that movie too.
You have.
It's amazing.
I'm
There's two in
so
one day that we
pleased.
talked about.
Yeah.
And of course, The Passion of the Christ.
Yes.
Here's a spoiler for you. The superhero dies, but wait, no, he doesn't.
Yes.
I like
Well,
it.
he does and he doesn't.
Yeah,
Yes. But it, uplifting,
yeah, that's a tough one.
painful, but definitely uplifting.
But, and that one, in all seriousness, when you're seeing the 40 lashes and stuff like that, I've never seen anything that was so realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, brutally amazing, but it also, I think, really painted the picture in your mind and your heart of just how vile that whole thing was. Vile isn't even the right word. How tragic, how this, how that. But it is a great movie. I thought it was really well done.
Yes, and also the relationship between Jesus and his mother.
Mhm.
There's just a poignant, just a bleak reference to her pain at his pain.
Mhm.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, and the authentic according to the original text.
There you go.
Yes, it was in
Which I-
Aramaic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Well,
like-
I was just thinking of he didn't invent Christ being beaten.
Right.
No, it's
Right.
described.
It wasn't Hollywoodized.
No,
No.
it was Melized, which
Yeah,
is.
and Mel
it's
Gibson
you know.
did it. Now, he's been
Oh,
called on
yeah.
the carpet, of course, especially since doing that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think anytime you're really out there making a strong statement, for God, there's an enemy that's busy trying to beat you up, and I think that definitely happened to him. But I thought he did an unbelievably astounding job on that.
Well, and he is, a deeply flawed man, as are we all.
I was going to say,
But
take a number and stand in that
he
line.
has done very uplifting movies. Braveheart
Mm.
is,
And that's actually, I mean, that's
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've
Oh,
seen that
me
movie.
too.
And if if it's on again, I'll watch it again.
Yep.
I just I always love that. That's a great movie.
yes. And then there is one by him which a lot of people haven't seen. It kind of got the short shift from Hollywood. He made it when he was older, but it's called Get the Gringo. And that was on Netflix. Oh man, see Andy.
I
has
haven't
seen
seen
this.
that
Oh
one.
man, we've
Not-
seen
not
it.
familiar with
We
it.
will watch that. I've seen that about 5 or 6 times. It's just marvelous. He made it. He stars in it, and it's funny, and it's also just you're rooting for this guy who is really a bad guy,
Mhm.
but he's an American who ends up in a Mexican jail.
Not a big good thing. not
So,
good.
man, it just says, watch that movie. That'll keep you absolutely riveted for a couple of hours.
Wow, great. How about Throw Mama from the Train?
Yeah.
Nah. Anyway, 22 minutes in front of
I
10
like
o'clock.
that one.
Yeah, I don't know about
No, I
uplifting,
like it
but
too, but there's
uplifting and tossed her right out.
okay, so there's a movie that showed up on Netflix right now. I don't know how long it will be
Mhm.
there, but you really need to see it. It was directed by Steven Soderbergh, and it's called Haywire. And in it, he stars a true MMA female champion, Gina Carano.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my word, this woman is, I sort of object to these superhero things in which these skinny little chicks like Angelina Jolie, beat the jabbers out of people. Gina Carano is believable, and to just see her work. And Soderbergh got together a really big cast for this. It was Bill Paxton, Channing Tatum, Michael Douglas, Antonio Banderas, and
Somebody else.
and the Scottish guy. The plot is great, the filming is great, the fight scenes are fabulous. And there's a long tracking scene in which she is escaping these, the SWAT team and, the black masks, that is just jaw-dropping. I mean, I would just watch that again and again and again to kind of learn the choreography.
Interesting.
It's a great movie. Yeah, I think it's in my top 10 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I would also
if-
recommend a
if-
movie called Enough.
If
Yes.
The movie Enough.
Enough,
That's
yes.
another one. Now, what about, Andy, when it comes to, like, your top 3 picks for uplifting, great, positive message movies, what's coming to your mind?
Lincoln.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice choice.
A couple of years
Yet
ago.
another movie
That was
that I,
Dan-
in fact, have seen.
That was Daniel Day, right?
Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis
Right.
played the Great Emancipator. And just a wonderfully crafted movie and chock full of top top-level talent. And I remember that when I wrote my review on it, I said something along the lines of, sometimes you have an occasion in a movie where everybody involved in it is doing about 20% better than they usually do. There's a whole string of famous actors in this, and every single one of them it turns in a performance that is very, very strong and above what you would expect. Just a terrific movie, and of course, it's inspiring because Lincoln saved the country.
And as we've talked about here before, Daniel Day-Lewis is well known as really living out the characters that he portrays, even when they're not filming. During the whole time that the movie's being put together, just kind of stays in character. And we've talked before about the fact that his family kind of got tired of him being Lincoln there for a while. It sounded like.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough on everybody the way he manages his craft, and nobody does it more successfully than he, I think. And that movie was so important and so well received that it almost immediately spawned Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, which is, it was, I'm not much into vampire movies, but it was a pretty interesting movie. Involved, discussion of, the slavery, because this is Lincoln as a young man. Pretty interesting movie, kind of a low-budget thing.
This most recent segment brought to you by Andy McKinney's Alternate Universe. No, but,
And oddly enough, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer also generated a cheap, cheesy spin-off called Abraham Lincoln versus the Zombies, which was less remarkable, less interesting than, I hate to say this, than the vampire movie, but nevertheless, they did make it for almost nothing.
Well, be encouraged, because next week Japan's coming out with Abraham Lincoln versus Godzilla.
It's about time for a good Abraham Lincoln versus Godzilla movie.
That's right. We're actually wanting to find out from you, what would you suggest to the rest of our listening audience as far as a movie that might be something that put a smile on your face, a little distraction from all of this other coronavirus nonsense? Give us a ring at 474-2427, just like these folks did at 17 minutes in front of the hour. You're on Rim Country Forum. Thanks for calling. Very good. How are you? There you go.
Called The Green Mile.
Oh,
The Green
excellent
Mile.
choice,
That is
yes.
yet another movie that I, in fact, have seen.
Yeah.
But that is such a great message all the way around. I mean, there's some parts of that are kind of tough to watch, but all in all, I think the overall message from that is really outstanding.
Yes, yes.
And that's two Tom Hanks movies we mentioned already.
Yep.
That's right. That's
Yep.
right. Hey, thanks for the input. Appreciate it.
That's
The Green
really
Mile is such a I don't know. That's if you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it. It's set in a prison on death row, and that in and of itself probably doesn't sound real uplifting, but there is a great underlying positive message that comes out.
There really is.
I
And,
couldn't watch it.
yeah,
I got halfway through it, I
it
couldn't watch
was,
it.
well, Don.
It's pretty grim.
It's pretty grim, but the ending is just so satisfying.
Mhm.
It really is, and just
Tina,
play-
you were mentioning Steven Soderbergh, the
Yeah.
director. He did one in 2011, I think, that we really need to comment on, Contagion.
Oh yes, he
And
did.
he
That's right.
kind of modeled this on the 2002 to 2004 SARS outbreak,
Right.
and also
Which is another type of coronavirus, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what kind of a virus the 2009 flu outbreak was, but that was another one. But a really terrific cast in that one. Matt Damon,
Mhm.
Lawrence Fishburne,
Yeah.
Jude Law, Gwyneth
Yes.
Paltrow, who very tragically, right at the beginning of the movie, dies. Kate
What a
Winslet.
spoiler! Wait, you've got people at home listening
It's
to
a
you and.
2011 movie,
Okay,
Maude.
fine.
Brian Cranston,
Right.
who's now very famous, but a really terrific cast. Great, I mean, one of the world's great directors, and a very kind of a timely movie for us at this point.
That's Contagion.
Yeah.
Contagion.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. And let's not forget the series way back in the day. Speaking of Stephen King, The Stand,
The Stand.
which has a whole plague, that's
Wow.
that's in it with Gary Sinise. Gary Sinise is so wonderful.
Yeah, he's
He
been
starred in I Still Believe, which I was able to see.
Lieutenant Dan.
Yep.
Hey.
And then uplifting, The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, there you go. That's another good one.
Fighting your way through a sewer. That's
Can
uplifting.
smell it already.
That's uplifting.
Hey, we got to take another caller here at 15 minutes in front of 10 o'clock. Hi, sorry to make you wait. You're on Room Country Forum. Thanks for calling. Hi there. Oh boy, you and me both.
And justifiably so.
In loving memory of Elenia, we used to call you all the time.
Yes.
I'd like to nominate two movies that I think that she would agree that were feel-good movies, but kind of hard to watch. And both of them starred Sally Field, and the one that Places in the Heart, and also Norma Jean.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
You know, and I think you're right. I think y'all would have loved those too.
Yeah.
And we certainly miss her here. Those are great. We also had another couple of calls there during that last break. Someone called in and said, how about the movie Rudy?
Oh,
Now
excellent.
there's-
Yes.
That is a
Really
feel-good movie, I don't know what
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. They had two others. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Which we actually showed as the classic movie in
Right.
at the Sawmill Theater.
And then another one.
See how Tina and I associate ourselves with the theater, even though we have nothing to do with it, by saying we showed.
Yeah.
I do that too.
Well, yeah, I mean, I grasp for greatness wherever I can find it.
I'm in charge of the candy bars. Hey, also they suggested Miracle. You know that movie about the USA Hockey Olympics team
Yes.
that beat the USSR?
Yes.
Miracle on Ice.
Yeah, Miracle on
Yes.
Ice. That's right.
Yes.
That's another great choice.
Yeah, and that is really a feel-good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, and remember Cool Runnings, man, the Jamaican bobsled team that won. Yes, man, and them train. I don't know how them train because there's no snow in Jamaica.
No.
But that Cool Runnings.
They got snow in Jamaica,
Oh
girl.
man,
It's just not the kind you sled
It's
on.
not enough snow them have gone, yeah.
Meanwhile, back at reality, we have to take a fast break. We're going to be back with more on Rim Country 4. Hey, what's your favorite movie that you would suggest to people that are kind of sequestered at home? Give us a ring, 474-2427.
Sequestered.
Put more right after this.
Who are Rim
Born
Country's
Free.
experts?
Oh, Born Free.
I'm
Born Free.
All
All right, we're going to have to sing that here coming up next.
Oh, what's that dog, the one, the 5 dogs, the,
30 years experience, you
remember
can
it was the
trust
sled
Jesse
dogs
Clark
that
and the
they
Sunshine
got
staff
lost?
to be on
We
site
had it
within
here.
1 hour in the Payson area for emergency water extraction.
true
Call
story.
them in an emergency or
And they came
simply
back
to get
to,
that
you know,
dirty
Alto.
carpet clean.
Huh?
474-2521.
Oh, I can't
Now
remember.
in their new location
Yeah,
at 5.
but I have to talk about Bowfinger because of Christine Baranski. In Mamma Mia,
Can't get
Christine
into better
Baranski,
shape
she's
unless
in
you
Mamma Mia.
start where you are.
Oh, I forgot, but
This
she's,
is James and
she is just one of the underrated comedic actors of forever.
Was she one of the backup singers?
Probably.
One of the-
and
Yeah.
encourage your health and fitness. Check out our
But she
website,
is, in
Facebook page, and
Bowfinger, she
Instagram.
plays
The
this,
Dynamos, one of the
this
Dynamos.
sort of desperate actress who's desperate to get her heart. She gets in this B movie, and you know,
Next
the
to
premise
urgent care,
is
call
where
928-468-8000.
Steve Martin filmed without
Are you
the
considering
main
a newer
character
vehicle?
know
The
that he's
time
being
could be better
filmed,
this
Eddie
spring
Murphy.
to upgrade with a quality
He-
pre-owned
he-
vehicle
he-
at Choice Auto and
Frequency.
We have a great selection on our website.
Oh,
at
Frequency.
Frequency.
Yeah, that was good.
And if you don't
Yeah.
see what you're looking for,
So-
stop
Wasn't
by in
Cavazil
person.
in that
Let's
one
find
too?
it for you. That's
Huh?
Choice Auto and
Wasn't
Truck on
John
Main Line
Cavazil
Highway
in that
next to
one?
Ace Hardware. And don't
might have
forget,
been.
see us
I
on the
don't know.
web. at
I think he was the
choiceauto.com.
younger version.
Maybe look up.
Hi, I'm Dan with Dan Good Flooring. And
All right,
I would
30
like to
seconds.
talk to you about Shaw Luxury Vinyl Planks. This material has taken the place of laminate. It is a waterproof and scratch-resistant flooring. Shaw Flooring makes many different styles and colors to choose
Yeah,
from.
Christine.
With
Man,
an authentic look of real wood. You'll be amazed. So come visit us.
JC Superstar.
North Beeline
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
she
The
played-
rock
she played one of the
Yeah.
singers.
Luxury
Yeah.
Vinyl Planks.
She
And
is
remember,
so funny.
we don't just
So
do
Here
a
we go.
good job. We do a damn good job.
10 minutes in front of 10 o'clock, 39 degrees. A look at your 7-day weather forecast here coming up in about 12 minutes, so stick around for that. In the meantime, talking with your hometown movie guys, we have Tina and Andy with us in the studio, and just giving you some ideas of movies you can watch while you're sequestered at home, and trying to come up with some that have kind of a positive message. And Michelle from the back office came in just a moment ago and offered up another one. You got to help me with this. 1, 2, 3. Born free. Anyway,
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we were
Uplifting.
singing during the break.
I'm not. I don't know if I. Was it uplifting?
I think so. I thought Born Free was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so I mean, it's all good.
And then cute little lions.
Oh, yeah, and then, melding the plague and uplifting, the Book of Eli, with
That
Denzel.
was terrific.
It really was a good movie.
Another
Dystopian,
actor.
but, yeah.
Another actor that just does not make bad movies.
Oh, he's wonderful, yeah.
Another caller on the line at 9 minutes in front of 10 o'clock. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning. Hey,
Robin,
it's
sister!
Robin in Hawaii.
And she's sequestered, by the way. She's home with her kitty, so Hawaii, the whole state is in lockdown.
Well,
It's crazy. Yeah.
where's
Well-
the love,
Well, it
baby?
is with you, honey bunny.
Yeah. So do you have a?
If you were all gonna make it in, but it's been listening to you. The bucket list.
Oh, excellent choice, hon. Yeah, the bucket list with Jack and Morgan Freeman, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So what was it that you liked most about that movie?
Just to go for it, let's do it, let's, enjoy the life that we have for now and, just go for it.
Gotta
Yeah.
love it.
And
gotta
keep
love
a sense of humor throughout the whole thing, which of course is one of the reasons that Robin and I are so close.
It just doesn't pay to not try and look at the more humorous side of things. That's how we get through life.
Yeah.
So, Robin, as far as just real quick here, as far as things over there on the Hawaiian Islands, what are things like right now with is everyone on home quarantine right now, or what's the score over there?
A little bit ridiculous, welcome to Hawaii, and if you didn't know, I hope you enjoy your hotel for 2 weeks.
Yeah, because they're quarantining people.
We also, on top of it, not yesterday, the day before, had a power outage. So, no reason that I could think of, just because.
Wow. Well, look at the bright side. There's going to be all kinds of extra poi for you to eat. That was evil, wasn't it?
Yeah, bring out the lalos, yeah.
Hey, Robin, thank you for calling in. Appreciate it. I
Love you.
I love the fact that we have people listening to the hometown movie guys all the way from Hawaii.
Waialua, Hawaii.
And thank you very much. Also, Don Klein, had just mentioned another couple of movies here. How about Independence Day?
Oh,
I like
yes.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Welcome to Earth.
Yeah.
It's nothing like
Third rock from the sun.
smacking an alien in the face just for kicks.
Right.
Deja vu.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different.
And Ghost.
Ghost is a good
Oh,
one.
Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
Oh, even Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah,
Oh,
well.
Demi Moore. Well, I mean,
That was
Whoopi
back.
Goldberg-
That was back when I liked Whoopi.
Hey,
Goldberg,
Whoopi was that good back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back before she
Yeah.
decided to let everyone know her political slang.
Oh.
Anyhow, so interesting movies. I mean, a lot of different choices here.
Andromeda Strain.
Ooh, now there's one I haven't thought of. in a long time.
1971.
What was this name?
Is that-
Andromeda Strain.
Oh, Andromeda Strain. Yes.
Speaking of plague movies.
The plague.
Yeah,
Yes.
Boy, at 71, has it really been that long
it
ago?
sure has.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Seems like only yesterday.
Yeah.
makes me feel like I'm really old.
Okay, so riveting movies that, you know, it will keep you on the edge of your chair and are well made, is Manhunter with William Peterson. It was made by Michael Mann, and it is the original Hannibal Lecter movie before Anthony Hopkins got a
Really?
hold of the story, he was great. But honest to gosh, this is one of my favorite movies. I'll watch it anytime.
A great movie to sit back on the couch and
Yeah.
enjoy a big bowl of fava beans and a nice
And
Chianti.
nice Chianti. No, William Peterson, back in the day, he was amazing. He also starred in To Live and Die in L.A.,
Oh.
which is one of my favorite, you know, sort of police corruption movies. Really good. I mean, watch these things, guys. You got to see this is Americana.
Yeah, and you can get it all on Netflix.
I believe so, or Prime, or somewhere.
You can stream it 150
Yeah.
different ways, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
hey, we got another caller on the line at 5 minutes in front of the hour. You're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning. Secondhand Lion?
Yeah, Second in Lions.
Oh boy, thank you.
Thank you.
That is
Yes.
one of my all-time favorite movies. I
Yes.
just love that movie.
Yes, with brain fade. Come on, those two great actors.
That's right.
Secondhand. I'm not going to show my ignorance. I don't remember ever hearing about that one before.
Way senior moment.
No, it's about
Yeah,
retired guys that were in the Foreign Legion.
yeah.
in the
Robert
30s.
Duvall
Yep.
and
Wow.
his sidekick, who was equally famous. And
Yeah, the guy from Zulu,
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Who never made a bad movie. And speaking of Michael Caine, if you haven't seen Harry Brown, see Harry Brown. That is one of his best movies ever. It's a dystopian British movie, you know, where this old war veteran.
And there's such a lack of dystopian British movies.
Oh man, apparently.
Well, it rains all the time there. It's sad and depressed.
Yeah, well, apparently teenagers in Britain are really running wild and
Right.
doing some dreadful things.
Well, Michelle in the back office just came back in again. She's got a few really good suggestions here for you. The Princess Bride,
Which we just saw at the Sawmill.
right?
Yes.
And how about Singing in the Rain?
Oh, and yes, I even wrote that down because we should all know this little snippet of trivia. Gene Kelly had a fever when he was making that last
Dun,
scene.
dun, dun.
No, he did. He filmed that last scene where he's singing in the rain and dancing in the rain, and he had a fever and.
So it wasn't really raining, he was just dripping with sweat.
It's an amazing. I mean, the man was amazing. It was like they said about Baryshnikov, you know, or about Fred Astaire. Baryshnikov said, you know, we're dancers, but he's doing something else.
Right?
Gene Kelly filmed that with a fever. I can't remember how high. Obviously, he was able to do it, but he was sick.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's kind of, you know, and if you're thinking to yourself, self, I don't think one movie's going to be enough. I need to watch more. She also came up with another great idea, and I really think that this is a good suggestion because I really enjoyed these. How about the Lord of the Rings trilogy?
Yes.
I mean, that's as far as, you know, you want to get rid of an afternoon, you know, just watch all three of them.
Yes, yes, and yes. Binge.
Yeah, gotta
Yeah.
love it. I don't know, I still like watching some of the, you know, there's so much you can find online when it comes to old television shows from
Sure.
way back when. As I think I mentioned here a couple weeks ago, I found myself suddenly watching Bonanza and actually found it fairly entertaining. I mean,
Yeah.
as opposed to, I think I also stumbled across an episode of The Flying Nun a while back, and I got like a good 5 minutes into it before I decided that was all I needed to see.
How about Have Gun Will Travel?
Have Gun. Oh
Have
yes.
Gun Will Travel.
Richard Boone.
There you go.
Paladin.
Paladin,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's on TV currently. I catch an episode of that every once in a while.
And I know some people are not Woody Allen fans, but I really am.
That's right.
Well, I know. And he, by the way, did homage to Ingmar Bergman, whom you started out with The Seven
That's
Seal.
right.
Woody Allen had some really funny movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got 30 seconds, tell me.
Annie Hall.
Oh, Annie Hall, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I woke up about halfway through that.
The Mighty Aphrodite.
Oh, yes.
Really?
Yes. Very good. Yeah.
I missed that one altogether.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was one of his good ones.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard there was at least one out there.
See,
Yeah.
see,
What-
I got you, Andy.
Yeah, what I object to with Woody Allen is his whole life outlook is, oh, well, geez, things are really pretty awful, and terrible things are happening to me all the time, and then, gee whiz, you die.
Well, he's
And
the-
that's
he-
not uplifting at all. That's
No.
the
Yeah,
absolute.
humor. This is
that's the
Jewish
opposite.
humor is a particular
Nobody
taste.
likes me.
Well, no, and he's
Yeah.
like the schlemiel.
He needs to
you
go
know?
eat some worms.
Yeah, he's the schlemiel.
Hey, well, the bottom line, we're out of time, but the bottom line is Sawmill Theaters will be reopening one day soon. We'll keep you posted on that as well as what movies will be playing there when that happens. We're out of time this morning on your hometown movie guys on Rim Country Forum that has been brought to you by the fine folks at Holiday Cruises and Tours, Choice Auto and Truck, Anytime Fitness, Dan Good Flooring, Hospitality Wireless, Sunshine Cleaning and Restoration,